I just thought Crongton Knights was the most beautiful book. As soon as I picked it up, I was completely gripped. I loved the world of it, and I loved that it was told from McKay Tambo's perspective. I felt that the family that the story is kind of that focuses on the Tambos. You don't often meet those characters on stage very often. I love that McKay goes off on this great adventure, and he goes off with his friends. And you have a really lovely collection of friends who are all very different in their kind of characteristics, in terms of who they represent. There's a girl from Turkey, for example, and there's a really lovely mix of girls and boys in there. And really it's a story about friendship and about belonging, and that's what excited me about the material. So really, we thought very, very carefully about who was going to be in the production. And in a sense, everybody's bringing a level of authenticity with them into their roles. So in a way, even though we had the underlying book as source material, in the play and the way that we've worked in the room, everyone's kind of brought their thing in. So in a sense, the characters have been formed very, very powerfully by the actors themselves in a kind of dialogue with me, and working with the script as well as a kind of basis. But I suppose in a sense, I didn't bring in too many fixed ideas about that. Corey and I feel very, very strongly that a theatre space is a very collaborative space. And so in a way, when we invite people to come into a process with us, we respect them as theatre makers, and we imagine and we hope and we encourage them to kind of bring their take to the characters. I think that the whole piece, in a way, is a journey, and the characters are constantly moving from one location to another. So we had a really lovely meeting with Richard and Simon, who together have brought the kind of visual elements of the show. Simon's made this wonderful moving set that the actors can move, and Richard with this amazing lighting. And one of the kind of propositions they gave Corey and I was that, in a way, we could do things where the set moves, but maybe the characters stay still. Obviously we do a mix of that in the show, because there's so many moments where the characters are walking from one place to another, or they're getting a taxi, or they're in a car. They're constantly on the move. So in fact, in the end, we do mix it up a bit, and sometimes the actors are walking from one location to another, and another time we will move the set to sort of make that transition for the audience. So it's just really fun, really, having that kind of toolkit where we can play around. But we were very, very clear in the way that we could sort of made the design that that's what we would be doing. We were bringing these visual elements in that would allow the whole story to feel like a journey. Well, I think because it's such a skilled room, it's actually not it's not difficult, that really. It's about being really clear about what the tone of each scene is, and it's also about the structure. So in a way, we deliberately end Act 1 where we end it, because we hopefully create quite a comic tone in Act 1, and we allow the audience to have a kind of good laugh at moments and at certain situations. And in a way, the idea of the moment at Sergio's house is it's almost larger than life and very cartoon-like, and maybe even quite farcical. So it's meant to be funny, and I think it comes across as being very, very humorous in the book as well. But then we quite deliberately pull the rug out from the audience just before the interval with the hunchbackers, who at first may seem quite mysterious, but hopefully also feel scary. And the reason to do that is because, of course, the kids are in jeopardy. They are taking a big risk to make this journey, and they're putting themselves in danger. So to serve the truth of that, even though they see it in quite a fun and light-hearted way at the beginning, to serve the truth of the story and the truth of what might really happen if you do something like that, we felt it was really important to find that shift. Well, I mean, it's something that's just really important to both me and Corey. So one of the things that Corey always brings, which is wonderful, is his body con, which is a thing that the actors do every single morning. They get together and they do this incredible sort of physical work together to really unite them as a team. And pilot's work is obviously also very, very ensemble based. So we would always do something like that too. But it's kind of really nice, two directors working together. Corey leading that practice because he's such a fantastic movement director, and that's his whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's partly about the room, about making a room feel very exciting and very collaborative, and organising the structure of the play in a way where everyone feels like they've got a lot to contribute. So we have 8 performers actually in the show, and almost everybody's on stage almost all the time. There aren't that many moments when it's just the 6. They're quite often meeting a series of other characters that are played by the other 2 performers. So that's just really, really thrilling, and it means that in a way we have to run rehearsals in a way where everyone's in most of the time. So it's not like rehearsing a conventional play where it would be, okay, well, I need 4 actors until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we'll do that little 2-hander. You can, some more conventionally structured plays work like that, but in fact our work, because it's very, very storytelling based and it's very, very ensemble based, it kind of requires the sense of, okay guys, we're here, we're going to be a family now from the 6th of January until the 9th of May, we're going to be in and out of each other's pockets, so let's just get stuck in straight away. Let's create an exciting room, let's hit the tunes. We often have loads of music playing in the rehearsal room and other bits of set and things, so people can be very, very playful, and that's really how we build the ensemble. Well, Simi and Corey, actually, who's stepping in at the time of talking to you about this to play the other role, they have a big task because they both play probably 7 or 8 different characters, but that's a kind of thrilling challenge for an actor, and you need actors who are very, very open to that challenge and who can really sort of shape shift into different characters and sometimes play different genders and play people who are different ages. I think because we always saw the piece as being quite cartoon-like, we were looking for actors like Simi who can really, really, really transform themselves physically in the blink of an eye, and also really relish the kind of range that they can explore within their own body. So we're very, very lucky to have actors like that come work with us at Pilot. And Simi is, he's amazing what he can do. But because we have a very open process and because we work on things all together in the room, things have really evolved from maybe what our ideas were right at the start of the process. Because you get in the room and you realise the range of what someone like Simi can do, you want to just put that in the show. So originally, some of those characters that you meet on stage, we imagine them being off stage actually and just hearing their voices. But when we saw what Simi was able to do, we just had to kind of seize upon that and put that in the play. Well, I think in a way the piece is very sort of big-hearted, and we wanted it to feel quite unpolished in a way. We wanted to feel like a group of young people arrive in a space and the space belongs to them, and from that space they tell their own story using whatever they have in that space, which isn't very much. There's a bin, there's a bit of an old chair, there's a bit of a dodgy bench, and then there's the castle itself, which is sort of like a representation in a way of the different houses they might live in or the estates they might be from or the kind of streets that they inhabit. So it's purposefully quite stripped back and there isn't very much there, so that the company and with us as storytellers can bring that to life. And so similarly, we didn't want, we're not a company on this project who can tour an orchestra, so we wanted something that felt big-hearted, so that was going to kind of really inhabit the huge emotions of the story, because the story is about losing your way home and having to find your way back home, and it is about loss. There's lots of the characters who experience or who have experienced huge loss in the play. So there's nothing quite like music really to kind of inhabit those sorts of big human emotions. And so beatboxing and the kind of, I would say, music really that Conrad creates, because he's an incredible beatboxer, but actually I feel that his work is much broader than that in terms of how he's using and encouraging performers to use their bodies and their human voices to express things in so many different ways. That just felt really exciting. As soon as we met Conrad, he just felt perfect for the project.